everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest WAAAGH, where we are playing Tzeentch. It's turn 38, and there's some pretty interesting stuff that happens this turn, so let's dive into it, shall we? We have completed Construction 5, and we're going to have an immediate response to that, so we'll see what happens there. We've done some site searching, probing, Absu, augury, probing, finds a Starfall Tower. Okay, so Starfall Tower is actually quite interesting. Gives us an Astral Pearl and an Earth Gem, which is super nice, and gives us access to Sky Metal Adepts, which is kind of fucking cool, right? Kind of fucking cool, right? For so many nations, except we already have Astral Earth. This is still nice because they are Astral 2, Earth 2. So they are better out of the gate than an Acolyte is going to be. That gives us better, just better Earth access immediately. Slightly higher. The ability to have smaller communions and still reach higher Earth magic. So still nice, but not the end-all be-all that they can sometimes be on the right nation when you find them, right? So, cool, exciting. Slightly more excited just to have more Astral and more Earth. So, there's that, right? So, found a Starfall Tower, Dark Knowledge, High Specs, End of the Rainbow. We summoned another Daemon Prince, Gnome Lore, and Auspex. Okay. We did get 11 Blood Slaves this turn, which is nice. And we sent our Daemon Prince out to attack Divine Ocean. So Sombre over here, very basic kit. Just a Ring of Water Breathing, Black Steel Full Plate. Has a random eye shield that we had on us. And the reason you can throw a random shield on these guys without losing their... you lose... Don't you lose, like... Oh, we got another guy. I'm pretty sure you lose an attack. Yeah, you lose their claw, right? Which is, that is the loss of an attack, but it's, you still retain their Corrosive Bite and their 2 magic swords, so... It's pretty nice to be able to just throw a shield on them and still get a lot of other stuff. And shields can be very valuable in light thugging. We're just up against some Turtle Tribe Tritons. These guys are not especially dangerous. The biggest thing is that they have a weak poison. So if you send something that gets kind of like overwhelmed and poisoned down, it can be a problem. But we've got 23 protection, and we've got 10 natural poison resistance. Body Ethereal, Displaced Body, Personal Luck, Astral Shield. Probably did not need to cast the Personal Luck, because our fatigue is a little higher than it probably should be at that point. Did they hit me? Might have hit me. Doesn't matter. There's nothing that these Triton are going to do here. Easy peasy. As we expected to happen, we easily take Divine Ocean. Fantastic. Unexpected event in Faldenberg. We get an Earth Gnome. So cool. We got access to Sky Metal Mages. We get an Earth Gnome. We've got our second Daemon Prince. That's fun. That's some good stuff. Third gate, we get 1 blue horror, 3 pink horrors this turn. We need 23 more secrets. Unexpected event in Faircliff. We get a copper deposit, so that's 30 gold a turn, which is nice. And in Sermiak, we get 780 gold. We'll take it. Woo! We find a Deepwood Scout, and construction in the castle in Bagaloth has been completed. Awesome! What do we got going on this turn? Well, from the treasury side of things, we're not throwing down any new buildings, but we are sending... where do we got? Sneak. We are sending an Acolyte over to the Stonegrave Mountains in order to drop a lab for the Sky Metal Adepts, because they are useful. We might not get a whole bunch of them, but it would be probably pretty nice to grab a handful of them and utilize them from there. We are recruiting acolytes in almost every location. It's acolyte time, baby. Notably, we're doing cultists in Bagaloth and cultists in Sirmiok, because we're gonna send some cultists probably underground to try to spread our dominion here. And we're probably gonna send more cultists into Athel Loren lands. We've got cultists coming from Balcoria, gonna probably pop into Sulfuria. Cultists that pop out of Sirmiok are probably gonna pop into Troll lands and or into Muspel. We're moving a cultist from Muspel into Eklund. The goal being that we just have like this frontal portion, at least a cultist, maybe 2 or 3 in every single location, and really just diminish his dominion here, with the main goal being to get our dominion in Trollland, because if we do get our dominion in Trollland, we're getting 3 secrets a turn out of Trollland. Right now we're not doing crazy on dominion control. We do finally have our dominion in almost all of our territory except for Faircliff, and then underground we have the Palea issue and we have the Smotherdark issue. But mostly our dominion is there. It's just not filled out yet, right? We have 9 dominion strength, and we're nowhere near 9 dominion strength in most of our places. But as we look, right, we've got a 95% success on dominion spread, and we've got 26 chances. So our dominion is probably going to fill out very, very quickly. And if we are preaching heretically, mind you, or inquisitorially, preaching in the adjacent provinces, in the next probably 4 or 5 turns, we should start seeing some of these adjacent provinces flipping. And it feels like the most likely ones to flip are these over here, and maybe, right, like Walnut Woods flipped recently, so maybe into Nagaron. The issue with the Nagaron thing is his capital's right the fuck there, right? So he's gonna have the strongest dominion that he has right there, and it's so fucking close to us. Whereas Athel Loren is a little further away from the base, so I'm pretty sure we can get Troll lands and maybe some of these other ones in the. So a bunch of acolytes. We're starting to get things like Chaos Warriors in Namor and in Middenheim. We're getting more Horse Archers in Traveler's Rest. And we're getting a lot of Chaos Warhounds basically all over the place, along with some Chosen Knights and another Sorcerer Lord in the capital. Things that we are doing of note. First and foremost, our new Daemon Prince, which has not been renamed yet, apologies, is taking a host of what we have, which is 35 Chaos Knights, 44 mixed pink and blue horrors, and 11 Chosen Warriors, and they are heading north. Why are they heading north? Previously, you may have remembered that Itza was on Nehekara's throne. Itza's no longer on Nehekara's throne. Now, I'm not going to get into the reasoning of why Itza is no longer on Nehekara's throne. There was some back and forth and snap this, snap that, etc., etc. So the situation being is I presume that there was just a misunderstanding. Things happened. I'm not going to get into it. But Itza is currently no longer attacking Nehekara, which kind of turns them into a free agent. Now, that may just be them going, okay, well, fine, I'll attack you in a few turns. So they might not really be that much of a free agent. But in that exchange happening, I came to the realization of, we really got much up here in our new Middenheim territory. We do have the big Marauder Horse Archer force and Marauder force coming back up into Bagaloth, But as far as like specialized forces go, I say that we've got the 60 units up in Aircliff. Basically, we're trying to have a real army that has some threat to it in Middenheim, and we only have access to that in units at the moment. But our mages, especially mages like a Sorcerer Lord, they can just fly directly to Middenheim in a single turn, right? So if we need to get mages to Middenheim, we can get mages to Middenheim. We're recruiting mages now, but if we need to get them there in like the next 2 turns, then we can do that. But we can't get an army there in the next 2 turns, right? We haven't researched up to like Gateway or Astral Travel yet, so basically we're just trying to be a little preemptive and move up to Middenheim, since Itza is the only individual that we do not have a non-aggression pact with that currently borders on. I don't think there's anything that's going to come of it, but it's not going to hurt us to have a force ready to respond to something in Middenheim. And there's always the chance that the dwarves are like, okay, no more nap. And if they do that, I feel decent about our ability to put together a response down here because we're still recruiting, right? And we've got more mages and things like that down in the Tzeentch, Surmiok, Traveler's Rest, Valkyria, kind of like homeland territory than we do up in the Middenheim territory. So we can pull something together faster, I think, than we would be able to in Middenheim. So basically just kind of like trying to evenly spread our forces out, or spread our forces out to the point where we can respond appropriately where we other really important thing that we're doing this turn is we did hit construction 5. So you can see our research is kind of tanked this turn, and that's because it is mass dreamstone time, baby. So basically every single acolyte and other low tier individual like exalted heroes, I guess they're not really low tier, but they're not doing anything else right now except for researching. So every single one of these is making a dreamstone. If they can wear a dreamstone, they're making a dreamstone. So dreamstone being +9 research. Obviously you lose some magic resistance, but you're not taking these into battle, right? Can't be used by non-sleepers and can only be used by Glamour Mage. So we are sinking a lot, I think about 60 or 70 glamour gems into dreamstones this turn. Our glamour is tanked also because we are forging a Gossamer Veil. Where's it at? Oh, right, that's over here. Which costs 15, right? So Gossamer Veil is just, we're just trying to make sure we have some boosters on hand. I've tried to get in the habit of having boosters on hand earlier rather than later, because often later you either don't have the gems or you don't have the time to get the boosters that you need. So we are going to want glamour boosters later. We're going to be throwing up most of the big glamour spells pretty easily. I say most of all of the big glamour spells pretty easily with our sorcerer lords. So just snagging a Gossamer Veil earlier rather than later. We're also doing what we talked about last turn. We're stopping with the Gnome Lores, and we are putting on Earth. We're making Earth Boots. Next turn, we're probably going to make some Dwarven, or make a Dwarven Hammer. Maybe make a couple Dwarven Hammers, again, so that we can get into this kind of concept of being able to outfit Daemon Princes more cheaply, right? Long-term investment there. But also getting into the concept of doing like lightless lanterns and things like that, etc., etc. So, a lot of work moving towards the future, right? Like making all these dreamstones this turn is a loss of research speed for the concept of gaining that back. And we will gain it back in roughly, what is that, two turns? So 2 turns after next turn. So that'll be good for us in the long term. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't know that there's anything else crazy happening. We didn't drop a temple this turn, which I think we probably should have just done with Sombre. I think maybe we just go back and do that in the near future, but right now it is what it is. Continuing to site search a whole bunch. Because of the pause to make a whole bunch of Dreamstones, we won't be hitting Construction 6 this turn, but we will in next turn, and we should be up to Construction 7 pretty quickly. And after Construction 7, we really have the question of I don't like going up to Construction 9 these days. Obviously, there's some really good stuff in there, and we have such wide paths. We could probably take a whole bunch of it. But it's very likely that Kidzin is already going up there. Maybe he doesn't, but, you know, as the dwarves, he already gets access to, I want to say he already gets access to, yeah, Master Smiths. He's got Master Smiths on a whole bunch of his units. Not on those. Inept Smith on his runes. Kinda a thing. That's a whole thing. Alright, well, he really only has Master Smith on 2 units, so that's good to know. But we know he has Riches from Beneath up. Wait, that's not what I was thinking. Sorry. There was a thought process here. We know he has Riches from Beneath up, so he's probably pretty close to Earthblood Deepwell, and it would make sense for him to throw it up. A lot of people will wait, get Earthblood Deepwell first, and then try to throw up Riches from Beneath afterwards, but I think the more reasonable scenario is just to low cast Riches from Beneath, and then just snag Earthblood Deepwell immediately afterwards. And we've got the open slots, so I kind of am expecting that. And the point I'm trying to make there is taking Earthblood Deepwell, you can turn around and you do benefit from going into construction pretty heavily after that fact. I don't know if he's gonna, but with the Master Smiths and the potential access to Earthblood Deepwell and a shit ton of Earth Gems that he can turn into things, it would make sense for him to do that. I don't know if there's more that the dwarves get for it specifically. There might be. But, yeah. So, that basically it's just a scenario of I don't know that we're going to try to go for Construction 9, even though we could probably dip our toes into a fair number of things. Rather than doing that and kind of like taking the gamble, probably we're just going to go higher in most of the other things. We should be rapidly approaching the point where our research speed allows us to hit Enchantment 8, Thaumaturgy 8, Alteration 8 in 20 turns, right? Something like that. Maybe less depending on the situations, right? We are taking a lot of additional time to do like cultists and things like that, but and who knows, we might get distracted doing other things by getting in a war or something, but we're rapidly approaching the point where our research is gonna shoot up drastically, even to the concept of when we get to Construction 7, we may very well do like we did this turn and take a turn where we just shit out a bunch of lightless lanterns, right? Which, you know, hurts us that turn, but then all of the subsequent turns after that is just a shit ton of search. So. So yeah, that's definitely a lot of options in the air right there. I think that's it. I think that's all that we really have to talk about. That's a lot of big plans. This is a pretty not a lot looks like it's happening this turn, but we've got a lot of irons in the fire. We're gonna get a huge boost to research here. We're starting to push up in boosters. It doesn't look like it, but we are getting blood online. Our scouts are going to be bringing actual blood slaves back next turn, and we'll be able to start doing sanguine dowsing rods. So that's going to turn on sooner rather than later. And yeah, I think overall this is going to be pretty good. Our dominion's filling out, which is actually a super big part of what we're trying to do. You can actually see we've got, we're sneaking from here, we're sneaking into there. We've got not this turn, but we've got another cultist going into White Waste. We've got a cultist going into Three Pine Grove. We've got a cultist going into Ku here. We've already talked about the cultists over in Athel Loren's lands, right? We're preaching in 4 different Karaz-a-Karak provinces already, right? This is optimistic. We might need to watch out here, but this is definitely leaning in the direction that we're wanting to go, and I think we're going to see a rapid increase in our power in the next 10 turns or so. So thanks for hanging out. That's it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.